Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, 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 hi,
Hi,
hi.
Debbie.
Excited to be here tonight with you, Dr. Conti. So, welcome
And
everybody.
I said, and you. Excited to be with you.
Yeah. So, welcome everybody to Dating Differently with Demi.
And Dr. Conti.
Hey. So, today, let's just jump right into it. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about. I know we talked about it earlier in the week. Stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
And when people usually hear that phrase, they think about what usually means mind your business, really.
Mm-hmm.
But in dating, it can mean something completely different. And it means really understanding who you are, what you want, and whose advice you should be listening to. So, one of the biggest mistakes that I think singles make is getting dating advice from people who haven't dated in decades, specifically those of us like us, right? We've
Right.
been married for 20 plus years and now we're divorced, we're empty nesters, and the people we know are married. And
Mm-hmm.
so the person is not in their lane. So
Mm-hmm.
before any married people get upset, first I want to say married people have a tremendous, we're going to put a disclaimer in there first.
Disclaimer. Yes.
Okay. Married people have a tremendous amount of wisdom. If you've been married for 20, 30, 40 years, you can teach us about commitment, communication, sacrifice, just building a lasting relationship. That is extremely valuable. But dating in 2026 is not the same as dating in 1986. And so, Tati, what do you think about people that give advice about dating and they've been married for 20 to 40 years?
Good question. You know what? It's funny because I recently saw someone uh posting and a lot of times it is married people lately. Everybody wants to jump on the relationship guru thing and the dating thing. And you are absolutely right. We're talking, they're talking chess, and we're talking, they're talking checkers and we're talking chess. And the reason,
Exactly.
yeah, and the reason is you're absolutely right. Um, you're right. Saying that you are helping someone date and you haven't dated in 20 something years, you are probably not going to be giving the best and the most accurate information. And again, you are right. There are so many wonderful married couples who are doing some married things. Help some of the married couples who are trying to hang in there,
Yeah.
who are going through struggles and wanting to keep their marriage growing and wanting to learn how to have a lasting marriage. There's a whole plethora of niche and a market for you. But to want to give advice in 2026 for those who are out here dating online wasn't even a thing. It
Yeah, the rules of engagement have changed. You
rules
said
of engagement has changed.
they've
Things
changed.
it wasn't a thing when you were dating. So just something, word to the wise, for those who are giving that type of advice, to kind of be mindful of that, and word to the wise who are listening to some of the longevity, the people who've been married a long time, and yeah, they have longevity in their marriage, but they haven't dated.
Social media exists. You said dating online, social media. People communicate differently. Right now we have cell phones. Back then we had landlines. So if the answer machine was full or you got a busy signal, it was different because expectations are different today and challenges are different. Thus, the birthing of dating differently. We've combined our expertise to create a strategic roadmap that helps you first prepare for healthy love so you can confidently choose with clarity and sustain the right relationship. And we were birthed through dating differently at our age.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I was watching a basketball game earlier this week and I noticed how young the coach was. in comparison to previous generations.
Mhm.
And it made me think a coach doesn't have to be the greatest player who ever lived, but they do have to understand the players that they're coaching. And most of you all know like Phil Jackson. He's one of the greatest coaches, one of my favorites in basketball history. But coaching today's players would require a different approach than coaching Michael Jordan's Bulls or Kobe Bryant's Lakers. It's a different generation, it's a different culture, it's a different environment. Dating is extremely similar to that. So, with seeking advice, you ask yourself, is the person qualified to coach me in this season I'm currently in? And that's kind of what you were just talking about, or how we started talking about this earlier in the week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, and I right now there's not even it's just so many different ways to date. When we were talking about that, I
Mm,
was listening to someone and they were saying when you're dating, be sure that you we always say express to other people that you're dating. You want other people to know that you're dating. You want to start again. If you want to do social media, you can do social media. If you want to tell your people at church you're dating, you want to start making eye contact with people when you're in these stores. And I had someone say, when you're dating, you wanted to make sure that you are being available for that person when they call, and this, and a lot of different things. Again, old school. We talk about not being so accessible, and we talk about dating more than one person. You're not sitting around at home waiting anymore for that one person to call you. Yes, let's call. Even if you have, someone that's going to call. We were just talking about this just a few minutes ago. If you're busy, you're busy. If
yeah.
you are not available, you're not available. But today's difference is having different standards too. We constantly talk about standards, we constantly talk about boundaries. Your standards have to be different today, because back in the old days, that and I hate to say old days, but back when many people who are married now that are giving dating advice, when that person said they were going to come and they were going to pick you up, they were going to come and they would pick you up. Like a lot of times the way the people operated even was different back
Mhm.
in the day. So you're expecting for women who are dating today, like I said, our empty nesters, our second time arounders, our widowers, career women, empty, now that's back dating. You're expecting for them to operate like you did when you were in your early 20s, maybe even getting right out of high school, and you were waiting for the person you had probably been dating all high school. It wasn't someone new, it wasn't different people, it was you meet somebody, you go out with that person, and you become a couple. I just had a client session with someone who they were and she I got her permission to discuss this. She met someone near her home, and because they lived in the same neighborhood, she felt, well, we live in the same neighborhood already, so it was okay to invite them to your home. Well, someone who's been married for a long time and someone who haven't dated in a long time, you may think that it's okay to invite someone to your home just because you live in the same neighborhood or you've known them a while. Um, but that's not the case today. We know that women, I guess, especially particularly in my field of my nonprofit organization for domestic violence, women are getting killed left and right. And it's because we are not taking our time getting to know each other. And I mentioned to the person, because she was like, oh, they was at my house every day. She let them come and visit one time and they were at her house every day. Well, I see several things wrong with that. Where was your boundaries? Where was your standards? Why were they even at your house so early? And why were they at your house every day? So again, it's just things are just different today.
Yeah. And so I heard you say a couple of things I'm going to just go back on, because You said dating more than one person, and that's always been a hot topic. So I want to clarify that for those that are listening that aren't sure. When we talk about dating more than one person, we're not talking about you're in a relationship with more than one person. We're saying I might go out, I might go to a movie, I might go to a show, I might go to dinner. I'm talking to numerous people until I decide I want to give this person my full attention and vice versa. So I want to make sure that I hit on that because you said it. The other thing you talked about when we said stating a part of staying in your own lane, we were talking about who are we getting advice from? But the other part of that is, like you said, if you're looking for marriage, say that. If you're looking for companionship, say that. If you're not interested in a long-term relationship right now, say that too. The That just means stay in your lane. I think about being on the highway sometimes, and you're in the far right lane and you're in that slow lane, but you're jumping over to the left lane
And you're
because
not in no hurry.
right, and you're not in a hurry, but because the problem comes when loneliness happens, when you get frustrated, lack of matches because causes us to kind of drift over into another lane. Um, Maybe you haven't met somebody that you're truly excited about, right? Maybe it's been months. Maybe every time you open the app, it's disappointing. That's when people start compromising. So when we're talking about lanes, you start entertaining relationships you really never wanted. You start, like you said, lowering your standards that were important to you, but because maybe something else hasn't come around, you move over into another lane. So you start saying yes to things that don't align with the goals that you have, because the goals change when you change into a different lane. So we're talking about staying in your lane means just not abandoning the destination just because the traffic is moving slowly.
And it goes back to the client that I was just speaking about. I said that sometimes, and this is even today, we have got to get out of the mindset that when you start dating someone or going out gathering information is what we call dating, you're not a couple.
Yeah.
You're not a couple. Stay in your lane. Dating doesn't mean you're a couple and you're committed. And that's exactly what was happening. It's this person chose her. She didn't choose the person. And I said, because I said, well, why were you were acting as if you were a couple already within a month. So staying in your lane also mean, again, if we're just dating, you have to be comfortable and making sure that you express that. You express that I am just, like I said, not looking for something serious if you're looking for something serious, but I need to get to know you first. We are not going to be able to just jump right into a couple's relationship and doing couple things because we're not a couple yet. And when you're not able to say those things or you're afraid to, you're just going to go with the flow. You're allowing people to choose you. DG Hampton said, yeah, it's way different. I'm 65 plus now, and man, oh man, different to say the least. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so again, when someone who has been married for many years with the same partner, you don't even know some of the conversations that goes on today. If they ask you, let's go Netflix and chill, do you even know what that means?
That's funny you said that. I was thinking,
oh girl, nothing wrong with that. Go hang out and do some Netflix and chill.
I was thinking about situationship and ghosting. Some of these terms, I think it used to be the situationship used to be friends with benefits. Now it's something different. And so some of these words weren't even around then. But it also, what I know I heard you say, what it means, not allowing someone else to invest emotionally when you already know you're not heading in the same direction. So, I always say it's like, don't make someone fall in love with you when you know you don't want to be in love. And I know someone could say, well, wait a minute. I know somebody saying, I can't stop somebody from falling in love with me. But if you're not looking for love, don't let someone believe you're building towards love. That's
Mhm.
what I'm saying, because that happens all the time.
Mhm.
And that's what I mean about being in the right lane and then moving over to the left one.
Right. Right. And Valerie is right. She says never never waste time on someone who is not aligned with your standards. And so that is moving out of your lane,
Yeah.
moving out of your lane. And one of the things that the person was sharing with me was where the individual was not uh, in their professional life compared to her. Well, if you don't give things time, if you don't give things time, it can look like somebody is in your lane. People drive fancy cars all day long that are not financially doing financially well. So you have to take that time. You know, my new saying is slow is the new sexy, ladies and gentlemen. Slow is the new sexy. And when you are healthy, you move differently.
Yeah.
You drive differently. Even when you are speaking of driving differently and staying in your lane, you can use the example of when you first learned how to drive as a young person.
Yeah.
as as you grow older, you start driving differently, you start driving more strategically, you start driving more safely. And so the same thing with when you're driving your personal relationships. As you get older, you should be driving a little bit more strategically, you should be choosing a little bit more safer and strategically when you're driving in your personal relationships.
I love that. That was perfect. I was going to go back to what you were talking about when they were over the house. And, if you're not looking for commitment, not creating that appearance of commitment, because people deserve honesty. But that was a perfect analogy of, we drive different, we move different, um, expectations are different,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what you want, know who should be coaching you and who shouldn't, and knowing where you're headed.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us, we don't just get on a highway or a road and we just start driving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're in Houston like us, you can drive a loop and go in circles, circles, circles that will never end.
Mm-hmm.
So understand where you're going, and the right destination is still worth the drive.
Absolutely.
And
And let
if
me
you're
say
not
this.
sure, park.
Well, better than that, let me say this. Let me give you this another example or analogy. If you are driving and you realize you missed the exit,
Mhm.
so you needed to be at this exit, but you missed that exit.
Yeah.
This is not the right correct exit. So do you just keep driving 4, 5, 6, 7 more exits down, or you get off and you turn around and you go back? So let's say you get with someone and you're talking to them and you're gathering information and you realize, this ain't my exit. Or this is my exit. I should get off at this exit. And if you didn't get off at that exit, don't keep going over and over, further and further, waiting and waiting. It's like that little worm in the soup analogy. You get off and you turn around. And it's okay these days. Again, someone who has been in a relationship, who has not been dating and has been in a marriage for a long time, their mentality may be trying to give it more time than it deserves, trying to be a little patient with someone. Nobody's perfect. This is how we got together. This is how we stayed together so long. Different types of scenarios.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you're exactly right. But again, I go back to a lot of time it happens out of loneliness. I'm gonna take a moment. Yeah, do we have I'm gonna take a
Oh
moment and
yeah.
just be vulnerable, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I remembered when I wasn't happy in the marriage that I was in, but that was probably the loneliest time in my life. And it was the loneliest time because the expectation was that person was supposed to be with me. It was supposed to feel different. because I was married. But when I got divorced, I wasn't lonely anymore. I was alone, but I wasn't lonely.
Mhm.
And when you understand the difference between being lonely and alone, you move differently. I
Mhm.
remember always going places by myself, doing things by myself. But because I was in a marriage, I felt like it was supposed to be different. Someone was supposed to be there with me.
Mhm.
But when I wasn't married any longer, my expectation was, well, I'm not married, I'm single. I'm supposed to be here by myself. My
Mhm.
feeling was completely different about it.
Mhm.
And I always go back to it with it's okay. And you have to have the mindset of if I don't ever find that person that is aligned with me,
Mhm.
I'm okay with just being alone
Yeah.
and enjoying my friends, enjoying my family, enjoying myself.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what being the cake is all about. I'm always talking about my analogy and my new series that's coming out. I got a workbook for you all coming out, Be the Cake. And that's what it's about. When you have all the ingredients that you need in yourself, then it's easier to make the choice of what kind of icing you want on you and what kind of covering you want. And so a lot of times too, those who you talk about being lonely in a marriage, perfect case in point. You have people who have been married for many years, doesn't mean it's a great marriage, doesn't mean it's a healthy marriage, doesn't mean they're not in the marriage lonely. And so on my on my relationship lab exercises, there is a a a, a item on there, excuse me, that is talking about loving from a healed place. Are you even ready to be in a relationship? Are you ready to date from a healed place? Because one of the number one things on that list is if you have not been alone and happily alone for a specific amount of time, you're not ready to date anyway because you're not dating from a healed place. You are dating out of loneliness. And I guarantee you, if you are dating out of loneliness and not just to wish anything bad on you, this is just common. Giving you this is just a free nugget from a session. You are going to attract something that you don't want.
Yes.
You're going to attract something that is looking for someone who is wanting to fill that void, meaning they're going to, and they will use, mistreat, and all of those things because they can take advantage of your vulnerability. They will take advantage of you being lonely. So you want to make sure that you are dating from a healed place. Go to the relationship lab. I have to put the link in here, and get one of those exercises to just see, are you really ready? And if not, get ready, because again, cake has all the ingredients it needs to be great without the icing. And so you want to try to fill as many of those ingredients in as possible before you start trying to add some icing to it, because what you don't want is to add some icing that is horrible or that does not complement the cake.
Right. So if you're not sure if you're ready or not, reach out to us. Between Dr. Conti and I, we will absolutely see if you are. And if you know you're ready and you're not sure what to do. So truthfully, if you're not sure if you're ready, reach out to Dr. Conti because she's going to make sure you get ready. If you know you are absolutely ready, reach out to me. Let's get started. Let's go. We get you
Absolutely.
driving down the right direction.
Absolutely.
And
Desperation. I want to say it. Desperation is a terrible fragrance to wear. I love it. Because a narcissist will sniff you out.
absolutely. So, so true. So, staying in your lane isn't about limiting yourself. So, we've talked about that. It really isn't. It's about being intentional. And it's important to really get wisdom from people who have the results you desire and who understand the season that you're in.
Mhm.
So, it's about not abandoning your standards because you're lonely, as we just stated, and not changing your destination because the trip is taking longer than expected.
Mhm.
Don't invite someone into your future you already know you don't want. Stay in your lane and just trust the journey. And remember, arriving at the right destination is always better than taking the wrong exit because it appeared sooner or you were tired of driving. You know, that's was my thought when we said we were going to talk about this, because it really, really, it is so important.
Yes, discernment is very important. We've also talked many times about listening to that navigation system, following that discernment, making sure that you are being true to yourself and that you trust that discernment, because it is definitely speaking to you for a reason.
Yeah. So, Conti, did we have any questions, or did we want to just give a little nugget of, you know, we always say we're going to talk about little things that happened to us and kind of how we handled them. Did we get anybody that sent something in?
No, and they may have. I don't have anything today. I'm sorry. It was been a busy week.
I'm thinking back in my reel of the 21 before 22. And I forgive you from that. You know what? I do have one that fits into what we were talking about today, because I remember meeting Dusty and I kept saying,
oh, I definitely have an experience from that before. I thought you meant a question, but go ahead.
No. I was just kind of thinking about, you know, we've been through this. Thus the birth of Dating Differently with Demi and Dr. Conti. And I remember thinking, but he's cute and he's fun. But knowing that wasn't the right exit. Wasn't the right exit at all.
And, you know, I same thing, you know, and sometimes, let me say this too, you have to know yourself, because sometimes people will make you feel like, girl, that's you're just being bougie, or you're just being you know too picky, or you're just being this. But you have to know yourself, because you know I met someone, really nice person, but I don't want it. I look long term. You have to look long term. You have to look at all the different things and what you're looking for. And so if I know I don't want to move someone, let's say we've decided this is going to work and we are going to, you know, get engaged and get married. I don't want to move anybody into where I am living. So, and the place where this person was living, I would not move into that place. I know myself. And so, and this person was very happy with where they are. So that already in and of itself says we are not aligned. And so it's okay. So somebody might say, but they're so nice, they're so sweet. But then what happens when you get to down the road and now you saw this ahead of time, but you did not address it, or you overlooked it because you were trying to say, you know, oh, it'll be we'll work it out when we get there, and it doesn't. And now you spent all of this time, all of these months, or what have you, however long, with someone that you thought was great, but when it came down to it, y'all weren't aligned. Y'all were on two different lanes. Same thing if you were with someone who, you know, younger than you and want children, and you know you're not wanting any children right now. Your children are grown. Or they perhaps may have young kids, and you know you don't want to help raise young kids. All of this is a part of staying in your lane.
That's interesting that you said that, because women at our age, just like men at our age, you can date 10 years younger, just like 10 years senior. Yes. And yeah, you talk about raising children, or for men in our position, you know, you marry someone or you're getting with someone much younger that's never had children, and they may want it. And your children are 24 or 25 years old.
Yeah.
So you have to know, are you willing to move forward? But that takes time. It really takes time. You always talk about there's 4 seasons in a year. And there really is, through a relationship. There really, really is. It's knowing how that person shows up for you.
Mm-hmm.
And
And what I normally say is, if the world, it takes the world that goes through 4 seasons in 1 year, you can just only imagine how many seasons an individual, a human being goes through. And so this is why it's important to get to know someone, take your time, know those seasons, know the seasons of when they're not feeling well, know the seasons of when they're stressed, know the seasons of how they are when they're sick, or when they are pressured at work, or when they lose work, or what have you. Hopefully that wouldn't be the case, but you have to get to know people long enough to know what those seasons are going to be like.
I say when life really just starts lifing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When life really starts lifing, if you don't have a foundation that's in place that is strong,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's not going to work.
Yeah. All right, y'all, put "stay in your lane" in the chat. Stay in your lane. Good topic, right? Good
I
topic.
thought it was great.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane with your standards. Stay in your lane with what your expectations are. Stay in your lane with the people that you are getting the advice from, and the nuggets from. Be careful with that. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane when you've already set aside what it is that you want. And so don't take yourself out of a lane that you know you deserve for anything, whether it's loneliness or whether you're tired of waiting. It is worth the wait.
And then let's just add to that, because you talked about stay in your lane. Tell people to stay in their lane too. I'm the spicy one.
Wait, let me get my yes, but yes.
Tell them to stay in their lane. So
stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. So when you get those busters coming your direction and you know they ain't right for you, not only am I staying in my lane, I'm telling them to go on and stay in your lane.
You don't say I ain't in your lane. You know you can't do nothing over here.
You're not in this lane. Go over there.
You can't do nothing over in this lane.
And for all those people that have the friends and the aunties and the people that's trying to tell you, girl, you need to do this and get with this, or boy, yeah, she a good one and all that, tell them stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. If you ain't no certified relationship coach with 10, right, 20, 30 years of some experience, stay over there. You said it so eloquently and it sounded so good, but I have to say to other people, stay in their lane too. Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Join our Facebook page. Follow us on all our social media platforms. If you're not sure if you're ready, make sure you send a message directly to Dr. Conti. If you are ready, but you're not sure how to get started, message me. Yes.
Yes. And join us for next week. Of course, we keep having great shows. I'm so glad. Share this with somebody. Next week, bring somebody with you. Tell somebody what's happening. This is really good information. And it's not, don't be stingy with it. Go on and share. We want you to share. Invite somebody. Let's build this platform, because this is some good information. And it is coming from good, credible people. And there's a lot of people out there giving information that have not done the work and not necessarily in their lane. So share this information. So join us next week as we help you and help others to date with clarity, move with intention, choose with confidence. And we look forward to continuing to help you love intentionally,
heal completely,
and date differently.